This week, we're continuing The Love of My Afterlife by Kirsty Greenwood, otherwise known as He Squirts Out of the Closet.
Hi, readers. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Katie.
And welcome to Not Another Heroine, Season 2, the podcast where we break down the best and worst fictional heroines of any genre. Because that's what we do now.
Want to see what's next on our TBR list? Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Instagram for a sneak peek at upcoming content or to help us pick our next book.
Dear sweet readers,
What a start.
we left off at a dramatic scene in this book. And actually, just so you all know, we're recording this entire book in one go.
Mhm.
So parts 1 through probably 3
Mm-hmm.
are all a little tipsy. And part 3 is probably going to be very tipsy.
Yeah.
But we need a little courage to describe what happens next to poor, sweet Delphie.
This is so beyond traumatizing. Delphie has a bag of her mother's old clothes, which normally cool, vintage, love it. She puts on one of the workout outfits. Mistake number 1. And so she goes out from her London apartment out into this like park thing where this running club meets, and all of these people are looking at her, and
She's wearing leggings and a sports bra.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. And she assumes it's because she's looking hot, which fair, easy, assumption to make. She continues like this until she sees Jonah off in the distance. And
She tries to run and catch him,
yeah.
and then she's tripped by a herd of dogs.
I love that you used herd because that's probably accurate.
Walked by a
Frida.
who's a sweet Eastern European woman.
She kind of reminds me of Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Just kind of like weird, but in a fun way.
Yeah. She's a dog walker. The leashes slipped her hand because that happens to experienced dog walkers. And Delphie trips over the dogs, manages to grab the leashes, and then in the midst of all of this happening, loses sight of Jonah and the run group, and they run off in the distance. And so Frida, who's also a bit of a chatterbox, engages with Delphie and says, okay, thank you so much. And she's like immediately latching on to Delphie, like, oh, we're going to be besties now.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, sweetie, I just want you to know, I don't think I can say it.
You got a camel toe.
Oh, big one.
Huge. I would cry.
What woman in her right fucking mind does not look in a mirror once
Yeah, that's
before leaving the house, especially a hermit like Delphie, especially someone who's apparently so anxious over what other people think of her and so afraid of people? You're not going to stop and look when you put on an outfit for the first time?
and it's vintage, like not bought for you.
Yeah. And you apparently have never worn workout gear before. You're not going to stop and look and check one single time. I think Delphie's supposed to be smart.
Yeah. That was the coldest fucking insult. I think she's supposed to be smart.
Sorry.
No, but 100% true. Accurate.
It was just comedy for comedy's sake.
Yeah.
And like a way to get her to interact with Frida and a way for her to like laugh at herself. But it just felt so artificial.
Yeah. Because I wish there was a way that we could have this scene that doesn't involve outside people laughing at someone's expense.
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like everyone has kind of put on an outfit that they feel a little bit kind of sketchy in, but they're like, I think it looks cute. And then you go out and you're just uncomfortable the whole time.
Girl, do I think I've told you this
Hmm.
story. I've been in Delphie's shoes unintentionally, but not the same exact
No.
thing.
Yeah, but similar.
I was out shopping. I thought I looked cute. I thought I looked real cute. I had a cute little summer dress on, flowers, shit going on. I wore like compression shorts, leggings, things underneath it. And I told you this before.
Oh,
And
no, I
the-
remember this now.
And the
At first
material.
I was like, oh, so cute.
And I'm walking around Nordstrom Rack because that's my jam. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm just cute. I'm a female out by myself, just shopping around. And then I realize that I had been walking around the store for 15 to 20 minutes and my dress had caught on my leggings, not caught in like a tucked way, but in the static in the materials between my dress and the like shorts I was wearing did not speak well together. My dress was hiked up around my waist and the back, and I have been walking around like this for 20 fucking minutes.
God. I'm like breaking out in hives. That
I am
is my
sweaty for more than one.
worst
It's
nightmare.
awful.
It's one of those things that if you see somebody struggling with that, like, be a homie and
Stop
just be
them.
like, "Hey, dude, I am so
There were
sorry."
so many women who looked at me and made eye contact.
Yeah. It's like, well, you're not like, I get it's awkward for you being the intervening person, but, like, we've all been in that situation where you wish someone had intervened 'cause all it takes is one of those, like, "Hey, homie, like, your skirt's in your pants." All it would
I
take.
have never gone into a dressing room so fast in my entire fucking life. So yeah, I feel for Delphie, but also this was a preventable
Yeah.
situation.
It just felt kind of silly. But anyway, she walks up from being tripped. There is one of those like board things for notices and people to post stuff on. And weirdly enough, she sees a picture that has Jonah in it, and it is a advertisement for like a drawing art class kind of thing. Everyone's holding up little pictures that they drew, and it is a group that's meeting the next day at like 6 or 7 in the afternoon. And Frida's like, "Oh my gosh, that sounds like so much fun. We'll go together as besties."
And Delphie's like, no, we're not going together as besties. I'll go by myself.
Yep. And Frida's like, "No, I'm just gonna go with you anyways." Which
I need a friend.
fair, but also a little bit unbelievable.
Weird. Who does that? Like, no one does that. No
yeah.
one. What are we trying to learn here? What is Delphie supposed to be learning? Because all of her interactions with humanity and the public are reinforcing, like, I would not leave my fucking house.
Mm-mm.
Like, no, absolutely
Yeah.
not. So I get it. She's meeting new people and maybe she's realizing, oh, it's okay to mess up and laugh at yourself and it's okay to have these things. So maybe that's the takeaway, but
Yeah. I just feel like it almost gives the wrong message to people that are maybe feeling like Delphi is, where they don't want to leave their house. They're like, "I'm content as I am." But I think it makes the world seem more approachable than it actually is. Like, people in the real world are not going to latch themselves onto you and be like, "We're going to be best friends and we're going to go do an event, even though I met you 15 minutes ago."
The librarian isn't going to handpick out books for you.
No.
Like, a dog walker's not going to, they're going to pick up the leashes and go away because they're busy doing their job.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a rom-com.
Yeah. Suspend belief.
Yep, literally. And so she goes back, and I'm pretty sure she interacts with Cooper at some point, and Cooper is
She's
like, "You
scooting
owe
her
me."
ass up the stairs one at a time.
Yeah, because she's like, "Cooper can't look at my camel toe," which I get, but also like, this is so awkward as a scene.
Yeah, like, it was excruciating to read.
Yeah, but Cooper is basically like, "Hey, you found Jonah, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, I did find Jonah. I'm going to an art group tomorrow." And Cooper's like, "Well, you owe me one, so can you please come to game night? Because I sent that selfie to my mom, and I told her that we are dating, so she would stop trying to set me up with her neighbors. Please come to game night, please."
And Delphie agrees.
Yeah.
Kind of. You know, what we didn't touch on in part 1 is the scene after where she goes to the bar and she does the sing-along.
Mm-hmm.
She gets absolutely hammered because she's never had a cocktail before.
Yeah.
And as she's tipsying her way back home, that's apparently a verb now.
100%.
She runs into Alid, the librarian, who's like, "Oh, you're drunk. Let me walk you back to your apartment." So Alid walks her back to her apartment. And this is where we get to see the first glimmer of attraction between Cooper and Delphie, because Alid walks Delphie into like the lobby area and Cooper comes out and he's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
I kind of loved it, but it's also one of those like, "Oh, come on."
Come on, timing never works out like that. Absolutely not.
Yeah. But it was cute and a whole like, "Who are you?" And Alid's like, "I'm her best friend." And it's like, "Oh, you guys met
You're
earlier
not
today."
besties. Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
But Delphie decides that she's going to help Cooper out. They go to game night and she has fun despite herself, I feel like.
She's kind of, it seems like she's resistant to having fun because she doesn't want to have a positive experience interacting with his parents.
Yeah.
Because she's got mom issues.
Because I even think that like Cooper's mom at one point gives her a hug and she has one of those like very emotional responses to it. But during the course of game night, she finds out that Cooper had a twin sister, M, who died a few years past.
Which explains why Cooper was such an asshole to Merritt in their first interaction with each other.
Yeah. And it's kind of like depressing. Like, I can imagine losing a twin. Like losing a sibling, like probably is horrific, but someone that you shared a womb with.
Pretty awful. And Yeah, but it's a good evening for Delphie.
Mhm.
Like, she has a pleasant time and they love her. They're very welcoming. Cooper seemingly has a really good time.
Mhm.
Oh, we're not at the aquarium yet.
Oh, not yet. Yeah.
Mhm.
In the meantime, though, the next day she goes to the drawing session. She puts on like a cute outfit, and I think she wears her hair down for the first time. There's some kind of thing about her being like Venus in those paintings, etc.
Delphie wears her red hair in 2 braids pinned to the top of her head like a fucking German barmaid.
I was about to say, I can't even imagine what that looks like. Is it like the legit barmaid across
Yeah.
the top? Okay.
That's so much work.
Absolutely
Again.
not. Put it in a clip and call
Yeah.
it good. Yeah. She goes to the drawing session. Jonah was supposed to be the model, but he is not there.
The naked model.
Yes. Cue the like
Yes.
what's that saxophone song that everybody play that in the back while he's going to be in the second section, but the first section of like drawing or whatever is with this one woman who is butt ass naked doing weird tricks, and they're all supposed to draw her. And so Delphie, for the first time in years, draws because her mom's an artist. She likes drawing, etc. She does really well, except Jonah is a no-show because he is booked that night for an event at some kind of bar thing, and it's a silent disco, which I am intrigued as a concept by silent discos.
You would.
Yeah.
That seems like a Katie thing.
That it does. Getting hammered and you're just in your own world.
Headphones with people around you.
I think that's an Aquarius thing. Sorry. Not to bring it into astrological.
No.
But yeah, so she's obviously pissed off because she spent a whole like day and a half trying to find Jonah at this drawing thing and he's not there. And so Frida and Delphie find out through the course of the conversation where the silent disco is at. And so they walk up to the place and the lady is like, "Oh, you guys are the dancers. Great. You're late, but get up on that stage and dance." And Delphie's like, this feels kind of sketchy, whatever. And Frida's like, "Nope, I'm going to take charge. This is the way we get into this place." And so they're let in under the guise of being dancers. They get onto one of the little like stage go-go dancer things or whatever. And Delphie does jazz hands, which
Come on.
that's so fucking weird.
This is weird and cringy. And also, like, I can't get a sense on what Delphie is supposed to look like. Because we go from, like, spinster-like, kind of, like, doesn't take care of herself, doesn't dress any particular way, to, like, oh, she gets mistaken for a go-go dancer?
Yeah.
Seems kind of weird.
That's not a mistake that I think.
You can tell right away. Like,
so she's dancing, and at some point she shouts for Jonah. She's like, "Are you in the crowd?" But she finds out that Jonah had just left for some other thing, or he got sick. Another circumstance that has Jonah out of
just
reach.
Fucking chasing Jonah this whole book, and in the meantime, embarrassing the shit out of herself.
Basically, that's the whole book.
Yeah, the whole story.
Yeah. But she does, during these circumstances, find out that Jonah is represented by this guy named Maurice. And so
Who's
she
like a talent manager.
Yeah. And I will say it's important that you kind of like realize that Delphie, as she learns more about who Jonah is, she's kind of like not grossed out, but like, he's not who I was kind of imagining.
Apparently he volunteers at a children's hospital as like a paramedic type.
Yeah.
He's a nude model.
Yeah.
And a dancer.
Yeah.
And a runner.
Yeah. Which are all good, but then she finds out that he was in a not Broadway, like some river cruise showing of cats.
I forgot about. I just pictured him in a furry suit.
Yep, you got me fucked up.
Yeah, that would be a deal breaker for me too.
Yeah, absolutely not. So there's just more that she's learning about him, and she's like, sure.
And she's also getting like turned away, and like people are starting to look at her a little weird because she's a stalker right now. She's asking for Jonah's personal information no matter where she goes.
Yeah. She could have been a little bit more sly about some of these interactions.
Again, it's like someone wrote a 12-year-old in an adult woman's body.
Yeah. It does give me 13 going on 30 vibes. Anyways, the next day she goes to Run Club again, and apparently it's been canceled for the rest of the week because of some heat wave.
Oh, darn. We're missing Jonah for the 5th time this book.
Oh, no. But Cooper had invited her earlier to come to the aquarium because his aunt was in town. And she's like, no, I can't because I need to find Jonah. And as she's walking home to her apartment, who is it at this random cafe that she's walking past except Jonah and his family? And they're like, you're going to come with us to the aquarium. And she's like, I guess I'm going with you to the aquarium.
His mom, Cooper's mom and aunt are so thrilled to see Delphie. And Delphie's like, oh, this is actually kind of warm and fuzzy and nice. It's okay. And so they go to the aquarium. It's typical, everyone's having a good time, including Delphie. She loses track of time. And then her mom and not her mom, Cooper's mom is like, we need a picture of you guys. Okay, this scene was pretty fucking cute.
It was cute.
It was cute.
I mean, everybody's been here.
Yeah. So they pose and they ask for a kiss and they're like, fuck no. But they take each other's hands. I mean, I didn't love everything about this book, but the way they described how Cooper held Delphie's hands for this photo, his thumb starts drawing circles on her palm, and she can't tell if it's intentional or not, or if he's just being absent-minded. But you can feel the tension fizzling in the room between them. It's cute.
It is funny too because obviously in very boomer style, they fumble with the camera 87 times and open the calculator app, and so they have this awkward laughing fit halfway through.
Fucking forever.
Yep, everybody's been there.
Yeah.
But Delphie runs to the bathroom for a quick second, and then Merritt's like, hey, I feel like you're not really taking this serious. Are you having fun at the aquarium? Because you have 6 more days until you die.
I forgot about Merritt. Yeah, Merritt pops up out of nowhere.
Yeah, a little Final Destination-y. But after that, Delphie, I think she Googles on her phone or something, Maurice with Jonah's name attached to it and finds Maurice's office. She realizes there's a callback happening that day or
she
something.
She sneaks into the building behind someone actually going there for an audition. Because that happens just like that.
Yeah, I feel like that's not very realistic. She goes to the callback and the guy pulls her back. She goes under a fake name or something. And he's like, okay, do a monologue. And she, freaks out and she's like, I don't really have one prepared. And he's like, oh yeah, I get how nerve-wracking it can be. That's also, I don't think, really realistic.
This was terrible.
Yeah, and so she spills juice on him. He walks out to clean his shirt, and she steals a little file that has a sticky note on it that says that Jonah is going to a gala in a couple days.
Fancy charity type thing.
Unspecified.
It's weird and stalkerish again. How? No, this. All of Delphie's behaviors and how she's pursuing Jonah makes the reader pull away from her. I got less and less invested in Delphie the more stupid she was acting.
Yeah.
And more out of character. It didn't seem believable.
That's fair. If I had read this with a full brain, I feel like I would have come to the same conclusion, but it's a rom-com in the whole unbelievable way. Yes.
I read a line in the script that you wrote, and I can't wait to get to this part. Anyway, moving on.
Oh?
So
please tell me, because I wrote this after I slammed a Red Bull with 4 hours of sleep. So.
No, we're just gonna sit on it. Just gonna sit on it for a little while. All right. So Delphie finds out about this charity gala.
Yeah.
In the midst of all of these things happening, somehow it comes to light that Cooper is not a computer programmer. He's actually a famous crime novelist, R.L. Cooper.
R.L. Cooper.
And Alid, the librarian, makes the discovery when he runs into Cooper, recognizes him, whatever. Delphie, I'm hot. I'm bothered.
I feel that. She Googles the gala. It's sold out. And so she's like, hey, is there any way that you can get us into this gala? It's famous couples. And he's like, I'll handle it.
By the way, here's some $1 million diamond earrings that you can wear.
Okay, so we're going to talk about this. He hands her Cartier earrings, and he's like, oh, yeah, my sister got them at an estate sale. Absolutely not.
That would never happen.
This was,
dumb.
There is no fucking way.
We also get a Cinderella fairy godmother moment with Delphie and her employer. So Delphie works, supposedly, at a pharmacy.
Supposedly.
This character does not have a real job, okay? God damn it.
She's a pharmacist.
Can you just...
I was about to say, you should take a shot.
I need a shot.
The hate coming out of your body.
Flocking character. Okay, so Delphie is employed by the super hot pharmacist who I was actually intrigued about in the first chapter because Delphie describes her boss as like an Instagram model
influencer.
like looks like one of those people who are just too perfect, which
I'm so sorry. I
Here.
over poured that so much.
We're back, readers. Katie poured me a shot and then poured some extra.
Yeah, it was 100% a party foul. That was on me. Anyway.
We're doing the episode right, readers. This is how it goes.
Yeah. So Cinderella moment. Hot employer?
Employer pharmacist type has been trying desperately to be friends with Delphie for years, and Delphie's just been brushing her off. Kind of shitty, actually. But this chick is like, "Hey, I got a dress that you can wear. Let's put some fucking feathers on the dress." And suddenly you're Daisy Buchanan from Great Gatsby. And then she's ready to go to this gala with Cooper, who assures her that he can get her into this gala with no tickets.
And then we are enthused with this sort of like totally out of pocket James Bond-esque entrance into this gala.
Cooper picks a fucking lock?
Yeah.
Because a crime writer knows how to do that?
Okay, so have y'all ever tried to pick a lock?
I have.
Yeah. No, it does not work with a pocket knife. Absolutely not. You need the full fucking like and all these like little tidbits that roll out. There's no fucking way.
You
need tools. Professional.
But apparently Cooper is successful and they get into this gala and it's great.
Yep.
And there's Jonah. He's there in the crowd. And there's also Jen.
And it's kind of sad. I will say this was one of those depresso moments in the midst of the funniness because Jen opens up this gala and she has this kind of sob story about how she was bullied as a kid and she has taken upon herself to raise money for this organization that helps defeat bullying. And, she was bullied as a kid. And Delphie's just in the audience like, you have co-opted my entire life. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, and Jen is married to that shitty boyfriend she had in high school.
Ryan. Which is the epitome of like white boyfriend. Yeah. But Delphie finds Jonah in the crowd and somehow corrals him into like a janitor closet.
Yeah.
This is such a like man privilege thing because a man could not come up to me and be like, hey, can we like talk in this closet? Like, okay, Hannibal Lecter, like, fucking no.
Absolutely not. And Delphie just goes with it. And then she begs.
Weirds him the fuck out.
Yeah. She tells him blatantly, I need you to kiss me because that's going to work.
Yeah. I did like the fact that Jonah is getting progressively more like freaked out.
Scared.
He's like, who the fuck are you?
He is attending the gala as like a normal person with his girlfriend. Yeah. And then this random woman is like, hey, by the way, we have a connection and I need you to kiss me. Otherwise I'm going to die.
It was one of those secondhand embarrassment scenes where you're like, what? But yeah, so obviously it doesn't work, and he, squirts out of the closet. He's like,
sorry, out of the closet. Oh my god, Katie.
He escapes. He goes back into the main gala area, and Delphie kind of has this like breakdown moment, and she sees Jen and she starts yelling at Jen
and throws champagne in her face.
Yeah, which I will say, so as like a trope, it sounds fun, but in real life, I cannot imagine throwing a drink at someone.
I can't.
Oh, we are not living in the same reality. That would be so awkward because I think the like music like.
Well, I think it would take a lot of anger. And I think it's hard to imagine that level of anger. I don't know. Like, it would take a lot.
I mean, it makes sense because she was bullied for a long time.
And ruined her entire adult life. Like, oddly so.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So,
because, yeah, I feel like that's kind of happening in the background of this entire book is Delphie's been really fucked up about Jen bullying her for 2 or 3 years of high school. And she's kind of let that color her whole rest of her life experience. And that's why she doesn't go anywhere.
It's weird because you don't feel sympathetic about it with Delphie because it's just like you're being told about the trauma rather than empathizing with it.
Yeah. Because we have the one scene with the like drawing and the teacher, but beside
There's nothing else.
Mm-mm.
The same thing with her mom. We only get the weird one-off descriptions of like, oh, mom's not responding to me again.
Yeah.
Guess that's pretty shitty.
But yeah. And basically they have this kind of like fight sort of thing. And then she runs out and Cooper follows her because he kind of like fucked off when they first got to the gala. He like saw some girl.
He's a bit of a womanizer.
Yeah.
Like a different girl every night type, which is ew.
Yeah. Yucky.
Yeah.
Like maybe get, tested for things at that point.
But Cooper and Delphie end up escaping. Like they leave the gala. I guess they get stuck somewhere.
It starts to rain.
Yeah, aren't they in a car?
More tropes. No, they get to the car and he lost his car keys.
Oh, that's right.
Sometime during the escape, and then they walk to the inn and it's raining, so they have to stay there
because that's how life works.
Yeah, and so they start to get drinks because obviously they've had a very large, long night. And by the time they ask for a room at this inn, all of the rooms are sold out by other people who are escaping the storm. And there is one room left with one bed.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yep. And then they fuck.
That was the line I was waiting for. Like, readers, this is what Katie wrote in our script. They share the room and obviously fuck.
Sorry. Okay, so I will say that this is a rom-com. It's, not much thought maybe put into this. I will say the sex scene was very like cursory, not very descriptive. So if you're just not in that kind of point in your life where you want to read or watch pure porn,
yeah,
basically.
I mean, it was descriptive enough. Like, it's not a closed door scene by any means, but it's not the dripping.
Yeah. Wet was never used.
No.
So I will say I did appreciate that because it's like, I'm not really in that era.
I feel like that might be a good place to wrap up part 2. We're at about 65% of the way through the book.
Yeah, because they fucked.
Yeah,
so.
I checked too. I made sure. Did you check as well?
I didn't.
I want to say it was like 62 to 65%. Every single time. Our authors know how to pace these sex scenes out. So Delphie and Cooper have amazing sex. It's great. And who knows how the story is going to end. What a shocker.
Man,
we're being a little bit bitter about this book.
Yeah. You can't think when you're reading it.
No.
This is very superficial consumption.
What I hope is going to happen with readers who listen to us, I hope they all read this book first and don't listen to this as I'm going to listen to you guys talk about this book and see if I want to read it. Please don't.
No, just go ahead and
well, it's too late now. I mean,
if you're halfway through part 2,
like you're probably never going to read this book, and that's kind of a shame. But like, it wasn't.
No, it was fun, but it's a rom-com. A rom-com and a book. Rom-com a book.
Katie. All right, we're stopping. Oh my God, words. The drinks are kicking in. So join us next week for the last part 3 of The Love of My Afterlife.
Yep. By Kirsty Greenwood.
From our shelf to yours.
We'll see you on the next page.
Adios.
You have to keep that in there. Hi, readers. If you'd like to help us pick our next book, send us a message on Instagram.
Or if you'd like to just listen, we post new episodes every Monday and Wednesday on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Thanks for listening.
Bussin'.